What's up all you TBU people out there? This week we've got quite the exciting week of battles, and I do apologize as we're back once again. I know it's been a week that you did not get your next week previews, and I do apologize for that. And real life just got in the way and I could not be able to upload. So we're gonna be a lot better in the next couple weeks with this. But this week we've got quite the matchups. We got our cross division battles. This is gonna be a lot of hype. This is gonna change the standings a lot in different ways. And I could potentially see a lot of big shifts in the TBU in terms of this. So let's just jump right into this. Alright, to start off this party, we've got the Birmingham Spritzies versus the Munchlaxer United, and the Birmingham Spritzies have such incredible firepower, and it's really hard to pinpoint which mon to pick out for them, but I'm gonna go with Dugtrio over here because Dugtrio traps Magearna, Toxapex, Mega Absol, and Lycanroc midday, and that could potentially change a lot of things in this battle. Dugtrio can also be run as a Memento set, a Sucker Punch set, set up those Stealth Rocks that can put a lot of offensive pressure. Even like Shed Shell, it takes away an item from one of those mons. So I think Dugtrio is going to have a big factor in this battle in terms of what it does mentally to a team, in terms of what they have to prep for and what it brings to table already. In terms of the Munchlaxer United, I think Miltank's going to put in some fine work over here just because it has some incredible abilities. King Bub is really using Miltank relatively well. And it does take on things like Dragonite, Weavile, Dugtrio, Cabal, and it could potentially take on Tapu Lele with one hit, or Mega Alakazam, you know, live a surprising hit somehow. And Miltank will allow the team to stay relatively healthy, which is something that, you know, if he brings in P2, Blossom, I guess he could bring in Blossom, Lantern, or something like that, he can heal up his team and make sure that it stays healthy to take on things like that. It's going to be an incredible match, and I'm expecting to see a Shuca Berry on something on King Bub's team, so let's watch out for that one. So next up, we have the two brand new teams of the TBU. We got the Oakland Rosa Raiders versus the Phoenix Sunflora. Now, both of these teams are coming off wins, and pretty good wins too. A 3-0 for the Sunfloras and a 4-0 for the Rosa Raiders. So for the Sunfloras, I could see them bringing the rain and putting in some fine work against the opposite team. Swift Swing Kingdra puts in so much work against like Salamence, Heatran, Gengar, Gothitelle, Rotom-Mow. A lot of those mons do not appreciate it. And they just have to get rid of the Feeny just so Kingdra can put in some big work. Well, on the flip side for the Rosa Raiders, I could see Rotom-Mow put in some fine work just because of the momentum that it can build and things that it could potentially trap. They just need to get rid of Nidoqueen, and I think Rotom-Mow can potentially push for that. So as long as he plays his Rotom-Mow well and keeps it preserved and keeps it away from the Nidoking, I think it can put in some fine work. It allows Gothitelle to come in, trap it, allows... Oh, sort of. If he can predict a good double over there. As long as he doesn't let Mega Scizor, Nidoking really take control of the battle, then I can see this battle going in the Rosa Raiders' way. But I could easily see it on the Sunflora's side too, so be sure to watch out for that one. Alright, so next up, I'm going to be looking at two 3-in-1 teams right now. The West Coast Wingulls versus the Long Island Golducks. So for the Long Island Golducks, I can see the Garchomp putting in so much work. He doesn't have a lot of answers for the Garchomp. Jirachi, Sylveon, Scolipede, Hydreigon, Mesprit, Alolan Marowak, a lot of those mons do not appreciate a Earthquake or Outrage, so Chomp could potentially shift the tide in the Long Island Golduck's favor. Meanwhile, on the West Coast Wingulls, you know, Wingulls win, right? We've got the Jirachi over here that can potentially shift the tide in his favor. Potential pair of flinches, a Choice Scarf set. The coverage that it has is uncanny, and it hits so much things on the Long Island Golduck's side. So as long as the West Coast Wingulls can keep Chomp under control and Victini under control, they can pull off a win. While the Long Island Golducks have to do the opposite. They have to let Victini and Garchomp really run on the West Coast Wingulls team and let them just go on a rampage. So next up, we have the Harlem Gloomtrotters versus the Tennessee Dynamos. Right away, I can see Mega Pinsir putting in some fine work over there. He's been using Mega Pinsir really well, having 7 KOs and only 3 deaths. That's a kill per game like of 1.75. Thank you to Tennessee Dynamos for providing those stats. While on the flip side, the Gloomtrotters need to keep Mega Pinsir in check, and I think Crobat can do that. A good, solid defensive Crobat could potentially keep that thing in check and really make him switch out, but it's going to come down to how can I keep that Mega Pinsir under control and not let it run havoc on a team, because a Earthquake, Quick Attack, and in close combat, Mega Pinsir puts in some scary work. Swords Dance +2, call it GG, because that pincer could potentially sweep. Next up, we have the Durham Dragons and the Wolverhampton Weavils, and this is the game that I think is going to be highly watched because this is a perfect recipe for a upset. The Wolverhampton Weavils are 1-3. They picked up their very first victory, but they have some confidence in them. They have some life. A 5-0 victory over the other Weavil team is nothing to shake off. The Durham Dragons picked up their very first loss of the season. The Weavils, how great would it be to pick up a victory against a team that's 3-1 and the Durham Dragons? That would boost their confidence. It could be a season changer for the Weavils, and I can really see it happening. But in order for that to happen, the Mega Charizard Y has to put in some work. He's been using it really well, picking up 6 KOs and only dying 4 times. That's a kill per game of 1.5 once again. Well, the Durham Dragons, they have to rely a lot on the Jolteon. I could see Jolteon being relied upon a lot actually, just because if the Weavils do not bring Zygarde, Jolteon can easily switch out for free. That's a choice specs Jolteon potentially on the loose, and that's something you do not want to happen because that allows Leo to really pick up some great momentum. So that's something to watch out for. I think this is going to be the match of the week. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Pyros versus the Jersey Weavils. I think the Weavils could potentially bring in a really unpredictable Greninja set. It takes on so many things on his side, and it really puts on a lot of pressure, taking things on like Arcanine, Slowking, Clefable. It just really depends on what sort of Greninja that he does bring in and how he uses it. So that could be something that shifts the tide in the Weavile side, while the Pyros have the Lando Eye. Talking about versatility, Lando Eye is also a very versatile mon, and it does put on a lot of pressure. It takes on things like Klefki, Zapdos, Celebi. It really depends on things, or it really depends on what sort of sets he brings in. So the unpredictability of Lando Eye and Greninja is going to be something to watch out for, and it really could shift the tide on either side's favor if they make just one wrong prediction or assume something that it is and it isn't. So I'm going to be watching out for that one. You guys should too. Be sure to check out both of their sides. Next up, we have the Atlanta Braviaries versus the Pine Cove Ramblers FC. So for this battle, it's going to be tough because the Atlanta Braviaries are 0-4 right now, but this is a matchup that they can win because of Manaphy. Manaphy is a mon that could potentially shift the tide in their favor because of Tail Glow, Calm Mind. It takes on a lot of the bulky mons on the Pine Cove Ramblers side, and it could break down it could sweep, it could break down those walls, allowing things like Thunder's Eye, Mew, Drapion, Talonflame, Mega Garchomp, or Terrakion to easily come in and clean up the game. While for the Pine Cove Ramblers, Latias could be something that really shifts the tide just because it is bulky. It is one of the few mons that can potentially take on Manaphy if it doesn't have Ice Beam. So that's something I'm going to be watching out for. If they can control Manaphy and not let it take on so much damage. If Pine Cove loses Latias, it's going to be a lot tougher for them to win the battle, but you know, Bob's your uncle, and they could pull off the W. So rounding off this week's next previews, we have the Denimil Dedenes versus the Scandinavian Stoutlands. I'm predicting Excadrill to be something of quite the force just because of the sand and puts in so much work. Tapu Koko, Muck, Mandibuzz, Mamoswine, Amoonguss, a lot of his mons do not appreciate just Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Iron Head. So that's something to look out for, and that's something that could really shift the tide in the Stoutlands' favor. Meanwhile, on the Denimil Dedenes, there we go, they could potentially pick up the W with Ditto because the Stoutlands have a lot of mons that appreciate boost and that build up a lot of momentum with just either sacking off something or taking that. If you can get a Buzzwole or Excadrill sort of mon going on, I can see that being really monumental just for the Dedenes, and really, you know, picking up that W and getting those beast boosts. You know, your best player is your own worst enemy, right? Something like that. So this is going to be something interesting to watch out for. Both 2-2, and got a lot of momentum built from this too. Alright guys, so that's it for next week previews. It's going to be a great week. It's going to be some incredible matchups, so be sure to check out the cross division battles. It's going to be a fantastic week. I'll be back next week, so be sure to watch out for that, and be sure to subscribe and check out everyone else's content. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to get going. Hope you guys have a good week and enjoy the TBU.